Well, I'm now in the kitchen with my girlfriend, Chef Laura from Celebrated Cuisine, and she's here to show us how to put a little twist in our fire-roasted tomato soup this morning. Good morning.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I should have brought you a little tiara.
To go with the queen of stress-free cooking?
Yes, the queen of stress-free cooking. I was going to let you say it.
Well, thank you so much. Princess is good too. So, yes, we are making a very healthy cannellini bean and fire-roasted tomato soup today. It's fast, it's easy, it's good for you, and it's inexpensive.
Okay.
And the really cool part is that pretty much almost ingredients you can keep in your pantry. You don't have to worry about taking up real estate in your fridge or anything else.
All right.
So from the beginning, the two items that you're going to need for sure will be cannellini beans, which you can find in a can at the grocery store. You can also buy dried ones and cook them if you want to, but you don't need to, and the quality is excellent like this. And then fire roasted tomatoes, and those are tomatoes that were actually picked at their ripest, and they are in fact fire roasted, and then they're diced up and they're put in the can as well.
Okay.
And canned tomatoes are absolutely fabulous because they're consistent in their flavor. You can really count on them whatever type of brand you might choose to purchase. Vegetable stock is a wonderful thing to have as well. I'm using low sodium today so we can manage some of our salt content, and if you want to make your own vegetable stock you can, but when you can get a great product you might as well go with
What
that.
would be the difference between using like a vegetable stock for this particular soup or using a chicken stock?
You can absolutely use a chicken stock. The difference will be a little bit in the flavor, but also this way I have a pure vegetarian soup.
Okay, okay, very good.
And that way I can feed the world.
Feed the world.
Feed the world.
One time.
Absolutely, and I'm the woman for it. So, and then the other ingredients that we're going to have in our soup is a little bit of fresh garlic. So I just chopped that up. Some fresh oregano, which I've chopped up as well, and then we're going to garnish it with basil chiffonade, and I'll show you that toward the end.
Okay.
Okay. The other cool thing we're garnishing with is over here we have Parmesan. I just took some shredded Parmesan and put it on my silpat and baked that at 350 degrees for about 8 minutes. And you'll see what we'll do with that in a little bit, and that's going to add a little bit of our seasoning element as well. All the garlic gets heated up and then into the pot, and then we just add the beans, the
just
tomatoes,
got a whiff of that. That
and the
smells
stock,
delicious.
and we let this cook for about 20 minutes covered, simmering.
Okay.
Once that's done, we get to play with toys. So you talk about your kitchen gadget thing coming up next week. Well, this is one of the best gadgets ever, especially when you're making soup. This is called an immersion blender, and basically, instead of having to take pieces of this and putting it into a blender and pureeing it, hoping that the lid doesn't blow off the top because of the steam buildup, you can take this, put it right into the soup, push the button, and we can start to puree it.
Now, what's the price point? I've seen quite a bit lately, especially when people are making soups. What are the different price points from like the low end to the high end?
You can spend anywhere from about $40 to several hundred if you want to, but that's going to give you a commercial one. I worked in one kitchen, we made soup for $100, and literally I held this thing into a pot like this. It was that big.
Oh my gosh.
I think you may not need that for your kitchen.
I think that probably not. No. We've only got 3 of us at home.
So there you go. But the thing about this soup too, when we puree it, we do a couple things by doing that. One, we're creating texture in the soup, and two, we're obviously melding all the flavors together. But your choice then is, do you want it to be completely smooth, then puree it all the way. Don't. If you want some chunks in there, then don't. Then you need to stop. Either way, whatever you choose to do, and you can see how fast it is to do that.
Yeah.
And this is great for a whole bunch of other things. And this little tool also, if you click on that, you'll see I can then attach this to a food processor, a little mini chopper as well.
Okay.
So there's all little tricks you can play with that.
And cleanup will be real easy when you pull that off.
You just pull this off and you rinse that and wash that in the sink. Exactly. So we'll just get that out of the way. Now, the last thing that I want to show you though for the soup, before you ever serve it, you need to taste it. Make sure it's seasoned properly. A little kosher a long way. A little bit of black pepper also goes a long way. So let's just go ahead and give it a couple of cracks of pepper in there.
So do you just throw it in first and then test later?
Well, I tasted a little bit, so I cheated ahead, but we're going to go ahead and taste again before let's find out. So, actually, it's pretty darn perfect.
Actually, I'm pretty perfect at making this particular one.
Well, Stephanie, if you must say so. Thank you so much. Okay, but here's the really cool thing. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to plate it up into my soup bowl right here. Okay, do it without making a complete mess.
I like too that you've got just a small little bowl. I mean, because we talked about this being a healthy recipe, a healthy serving size.
Well, and you know what though too, when we talk about it being healthy, cannellini beans in general are a complete protein. They're just a wonderful thing to add to your diet. A cup of cannellini beans, we're looking at 200 calories, 15 grams of protein, barely any fat, and low in carbohydrates. So you've got something that will actually add a lot of nutritional value to you. And so in this soup, actually, there is trace fat at all. So if you're
personal trainer approved.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to do 2 things to the soup now to make it not just tasty, but pretty.
I'll get it for you.
There we go. We're going to break part of that off. So this is our little frico. We'll just add that in. It's called a frico. And then I made a little balsamic reduction. So this is just balsamic vinegar that's been reduced over high heat with a little bit of sugar. And I'll just give it a couple little dots of that.
What's that going to add to it besides a little bit of visual interest?
Two things. A little bit of sweetness because it's reduced with a little sugar, and also some acid so that I get some brightness out of the soup. It's really good. So you tell me what you think.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah, of course I do. It's going to be hot.
Rich. That beans give it a really rich, you would eat that and feel satisfied.
Absolutely.
It's not so brothy that you're going to be like, now what am I going to eat?
Nope, and you can cool that down and freeze it if you want to, and then you have your soup available for you on another day.
I'll make that one. My husband will love it.
There you go.
You know he will.